Take a good look. These are the guys activist Judge Boasberg and the Democrats are fighting to protect. Watch this and judge for yourself. This was in Colorado. And they want you to believe this is just compassionate immigration policy? Nah, this is chaos. Plain and simple. Welcome to Boney's View. My name is Chisom, and this is Chisom's Insight, where we dive deep. No spin, no fluff, just the facts. This is episode 1, so let's get right into it. Today, we're breaking down a major clash between the Trump administration and the judiciary that's making headlines. The latest showdown? The administration refused to halt deportations after a federal judge attempted to intervene. The story here is clear. A judge overstepping his authority to block an immigration policy that the Trump administration has every right to enforce. And the administration? They're not backing down. Now, let's talk about the real issue. Judge James Boasberg. Many believe he's an activist judge, allowing his political biases to interfere with the law. He attempted to stop the deportation of individuals whom the Trump administration identified as gang members. Before I go any further, let's pause for a minute. Take a good look. These are the guys activist Judge Boasberg and the Democrats are fighting to protect. Watch this and judge for yourself. This was in Colorado. And they want you to believe this is just compassionate immigration policy? Nah, this is chaos. Plain and simple. ES District Judge James Boasberg didn't stop with just issuing an order to temporarily halt the deportations. No, he went further. In a dramatic move. He even ordered planes to be turned around mid-flight, forcing the administration to jump through legal hoops to comply with his ruling. Seriously? A judge trying to dictate U.S. immigration policy like this? Of course, the White House wasn't having it. A single judge in a single city cannot direct the movements of deportees after they have left the country, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated on Sunday, adding that the judge's order had no lawful basis since the individuals had already been removed from U.S. territory. Judge Boasberg is acting as if the executive branch doesn't have the authority to enforce immigration policy. The Trump administration made it clear that it had the legal right to deport these individuals. Yet Boasberg decided that his personal stance on immigration outweighed the executive branch's authority. What's even more absurd, his ruling was oral, meaning it wasn't even a formal written decision. Leavitt dismissed the order as meaningless, stating, "It was oral rather than written." And she's right. How can an informal directive like that even be taken seriously in a case of this magnitude? The Justice Department echoed this argument in a court filing on Monday, signed by Attorney General Pam Bondi. In a separate filing, the department requested that an appeals court immediately halt the case and prevent Boasberg from overseeing it further. This judge is actively trying to obstruct deportations that serve the national interest. The Trump administration is working to prevent criminal gangs from entering the country. With rising crime rate, the last thing America needs is more criminal elements slipping through the border. So, why would Boasberg try to stop that? It's as if he's more interested in playing politics than upholding the law. And let's not act surprised. Boasberg presided over numerous January 6th cases and handed down harsh sentences, many of which were later overturned or pardoned by Trump. It's no secret that he isn't a fan of the Trump administration. The White House made it clear that the weekend deportations, primarily of individuals linked to the Tren de Aragua gang, were carried out under the legal, authority of the 18th Century Alien Enemies Act. So, the administration's stance? Judge James Boasberg had no legal grounds to intervene, even temporarily. Let's break down why the Trump administration was absolutely right to defy this ruling. This isn't just about immigration policy. It's about national security. The Tren de Aragua gang isn't a minor threat. They're a violent criminal organization. The Trump administration was simply taking necessary action to protect American citizens. These weren't just random individuals. They were dangerous criminals. Yet, Boasberg, sitting comfortably in Washington, D.C., decided to block their deportation, disregarding the real threats they pose. Now, let's be clear. The Trump administration isn't operating outside the law. They're acting within the framework established by Congress. Laws like the Alien Enemies Act give them the authority to deport individuals deemed a threat. The idea that a single judge could override this authority? That's ridiculous. Trump's decision to defy this ruling wasn't just political bravado. It was based on the fundamental principle that the judicial branch cannot overstep its bounds and interfere with executive powers concerning national security and immigration. The system of checks and balances exists for a reason. But that doesn't mean an unelected judge should have veto power over national security policies. We're not stopping. White House border czar Tom Homan said Monday morning on Fox and Friends, "I don't care what the judges think." And most Americans seem to agree. According to a new NBC News poll, 55% of registered voters approve of Trump's handling of border security and immigration, while only 43% disapprove. Let's be honest. Boasberg's decision was politically motivated. His ruling contradicts the will of the American people, as reflected in multiple polls favoring stricter immigration policies. The people voted for strong border enforcement, yet an unelected judge is attempting to block it. Why? Because he personally opposes it? His job is to interpret the law, not obstruct it. If judges like him are allowed to dictate policy against the will of the voters, we're heading down a dangerous road where unelected officials make the decisions. That's not democracy. Mike Davis, a lawyer and Trump ally, didn't mince words on X, formerly Twitter. "I don't say this lightly, but the time has come. Tell Congress to impeach D.C. Obama Judge Judge Boasberg for keeping terrorists in America." And it's not just commentators calling this out. Republican Rep. Brandon Gill from Texas announced Saturday that he plans to file articles of impeachment against Boasberg. And Colorado Congresswoman Rep. Lauren Boebert, a Trump loyalist, is fully on board with that. "I voted for President Trump, not activist judges. Congress must impeach those obstructing the agenda Americans overwhelmingly supported," Boebert posted on X. She got a seal of approval from billionaire powerhouse Trump advisor Elon Musk, who weighed in on an online post from the pro-MAGA Wake Up America account, surveying the public about Boebert's impeachment move. Musk responded with an emoji signaling 100%. Trump himself fired back, calling Judge James Boasberg a lunatic after a court clash with the administration, which flew more than 200 alleged gangsters to El Salvador and said they were members of Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, or MS-13. The president wrote on his Truth Social account Wednesday, "If a president doesn't have the right to throw murderers and other criminals out of our country because a radical left lunatic judge wants to assume the role of president, then our country is in very big trouble and destined to fail." So, what's the bottom line? The Trump administration stood its ground against an overreaching judge, and rightfully so. Judge Boasberg clearly overstepped his authority, acting as if he had the power to veto the president's legal decisions. If judges like him continue to block policies that the people voted for, the U.S. is heading toward a system where unelected officials dictate national policy. This isn't about power plays. It's about ensuring that lawful policies are carried out to protect American citizens. If judges continue to undermine the executive branch, it raises serious concerns about the role of the judiciary in a democratic society. The courts should act as a check on power, not an obstruction. If you're a judge using your position to override the will of the people, maybe it's time to reconsider the robe you're wearing. Because if this sets a precedent, we won't have a government elected by the people. We'll have a system controlled by a handful of unelected judges. And that's not how democracy works. Now, I want to hear from you. Was this judge out of line, or did he have a point? Is this a case of judicial overreach? And was the administration simply enforcing the law? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Chisom's Insight. Catch you next time.